Good afternoon to our Columbus community. We would now like to call our Public Engagement Committee for our Columbus Board of Education to order. Chief Gillison, please take roll.
Thank you. Yes.
Good afternoon to our Columbus
Vice President Reyes.
Here.
Dr. Pierce.
Present.
Michael Aaron. Lolita Augustine. Dr. Saleshi. Michael Barnes.
Here.
Jimmy Beal.
Present.
Tasha Booker or Representative Adero Robinson. Dave Dobos. Shelby Dawkins.
Here.
Travis Howisher. Toya Johnson.
Present.
Lourdes Basaro. Laura Kraut.
Here.
Was that Laura? Malik Moore.
Present, ma'am.
Dr. Najera.
Present.
Board Member Ragland. Dr. Dewan Robinson.
Present.
Larry Seward. T. Street.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you so much for that, Chief Gillison. We appreciate it. We want to start the meeting off by giving everyone an opportunity to briefly pull up our meeting minutes from August 20th, 2020, September 21st, 2020, and November 11th of 2020. Did everybody have a chance to read over and review those minutes prior to today's meeting?
Yes.
Look at y'all
Yes.
on it. Excellent. We will now entertain a motion to approve, again, the meeting minutes for August 20th, September 21st, and November 11th. Do we have a motion to approve?
Do we still need to make a motion to amend the attendance for those, or was that done already?
You do need to make a motion to amend attendance.
And do we have a document with those names in it already listed? I thought I saw something.
There was
there
a
is the attendance amendment.
but you can call out if you were in meeting attendance. So, Mr. Barnes, would you like to attempt to amend the meeting minutes for August 20th?
I would like to amend the
include-
minutes for August 20th to indicate my attendance at that meeting.
Would you like to amend September 21st?
I would.
Attendance as a yes.
Yes.
November 11th?
Yes.
Excellent. Are there any additional amendments to the attendance for August 20th or September 21st or November 11th? The additional amendments for that attendance record that we currently have do include Dr. Dewan Robinson, T. Street, Lolita Augustine. Are there any additional amendments again to attendance? Okay, hearing none, we will then again open the floor to entertain the motion to approve the meeting minutes for August 20th, September 21st, and November 11th.
So moved.
We have a second?
A second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those not in favor, same sign. Any abstaining? Thank you so much. We have approved our meeting minutes for our meeting held on August 20th, September 21st, and November 11th. That pulls us down to the next item in our agenda, and that is the purpose of this meeting. So the purpose of this meeting is to discuss and assign our public engagement committee and subcommittee structures. So again, to discuss and assign our public engagement committee subcommittees. Is there any discussion just on the agenda that we've laid out in terms of the purpose, taking time to welcome new members, our mission and vision statement, our committee charter, and the subcommittees again that we're going to assign today? No? Okay, so we'll just continue to move through the agenda. We have no welcomes. I think everybody has been here before, so nobody is attending their first meeting, which makes us feel good that we all are community and here moving forward to build bridges to our larger Columbus community. Our next item of business is then to entertain a motion to approve our proposed mission and vision statements. And I will pull that up on the screen just so everybody can see those very clearly. Can everybody see those?
Yes.
Excellent. So again, we spent some time in our first couple of meetings just really talking about the mission and vision of this committee, and we all came together to collaboratively put forth a new mission and vision. That mission is to assist Columbus City Schools to continue to advance, evolve, and grow their capacity, meeting the changing needs of the community. The vision statement as proposed is that this committee is charged to really cultivating a mutually collaborative environment where we engage public, nonprofit, and private sectors to innovatively advance Columbus City Schools on a continual path of meeting the changing needs of the community. We'll take a moment just to open up the floor to see if anybody has any additional comments. Hearing no comments, we will now entertain a motion to approve our revised mission and vision statements.
So moved.
Is that Jimmy Beal?
Oh, Tracy.
Oh, Dr. Darrow, thank you.
Dr. Nahida.
And there's a second.
Second.
Second, Mike Barnes.
Okay, I thought we heard that first second from.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. That's fine.
Okay. Excellent. So we have a motion and a second, so we can move forward to a vote. All those in favor for our new revised mission and vision statements for,
Dr. Pierce,
yes.
do we have to wordsmith this, you know, kind of to the end right now? Like there were a few things that weren't quite, you know, that need to be changed just a little bit, like cultivating a mutually collaborative, you know, there's just these little fine pieces, and I didn't know if they had to be done now.
So we did take opportunity in our last meeting directly before this one to provide that opportunity for additional wordsmithing. We also provided that opportunity to committee members via our Google Documents. To date, I have not received any emails or any comments, revisions on our Google Documents to indicate a desire for revisions. So at this point, the motion and the second is on the floor to approve our proposed mission and vision statements, meaning that once this is adopted, we will move forward and recommend to the board, the entire board, that we are moving forward with this new mission and vision statement for the Committee of Public Engagement.
But Jimmy, you can make an amendment.
My only concern is that at different times, it's been, it would be, we would say something slightly different than what is here. And that would be actually a better wordage. And so I just wanted to make sure that when we submit this, it's well done.
So since there's a motion and a second, it's now open for discussion, correct?
Yes,
So
it is.
if
So
there's something that needs to be changed or somebody would like to be considered for change, they could make a
This is-
motion at this point.
your
So,
opportunity to do that.
so I move that we amend the vision statement to be grammatically correct, which I think is where Jimmy was going. It should read cultivating a mutually collaborative environment wherein we engage public, nonprofit, and private sectors. So for me, I do move that we make those two changes.
Okay, so I hear that there is a motion. Well, there's a motion on the floor to amend the vision statement to read cultivating a mutually collaborative environment wherein we engage public, nonprofit, and private sectors to innovatively advance Columbus City Schools on a continual path of meeting the changing needs of the community.
Yes. I second that.
So English.
So in essence, what we need to do now is, it's not necessarily a second. Dr. Najera, would you be willing to pull back your motion to put forth the initial reading of the mission and vision statement?
Yes.
Yes. And so now we can move forward then to, in fact, motion. We will have to have someone motion for the approval of the amended statement. And the amended statement for our vision statement is cultivating a mutually collaborative environment wherein we engage public, nonprofit, and private sectors to innovatively advance Columbus City Schools on a continual path of meeting the changing needs of the community.
So
So we
Dr.
have
Pierce,
back with
just-
that motion.
Dr. Pierce, just for Robert's rule. So basically, Jimmy and T Street did the amendment in the second. So we vote on the amendment for the change. Then it goes back to the original motion with the change if the amendment is approved, and then we pass the amendment.
So that's why I asked Dr. Najera if she was willing to pull her initial motion. So because she pulled that, then we can move forward with the motion for the amended language.
So in the interest of efficiency, if there's going to be more of these, can Dr. Najera just accept that as a friendly amendment and it becomes part of
She
her
can.
motion?
She
Just
can,
to make this a little more efficient?
Yes. So
I
it seems like
accept.
she accepts that friendly amendment. Are
Okay.
there any additional
Thank you.
friendly amendments?
So with regard to the mission statement,
Mm-hmm.
assist Columbus City Schools in continuing to advance, evolve, and grow their capacity in meeting or to meet the changing needs of the community.
Which one do you want? So right now I have recorded that you said assist Columbus City Schools in continuing to advance, evolve, and grow their capacity in meeting the changing needs of the community.
Or to meet the change. Probably that's shorter or clearer.
Which one do you want? Capacity in meeting or to meet?
To meet.
To meet. So again, we have a friendly amendment on the floor to change the language of the mission statement to read as follows. Assist Columbus City Schools in continuing to advance, evolve, and grow their capacity to meet the changing needs of the community. Is that correct, Jimmy?
Yes.
Yes, excellent. Dr. Najera, are you okay with that friendly amendment? So standing on the floor, we have two friendly amendments well, multiple friendly amendments that have been made to our two statements that have been read by me. We do still have a second on the floor. Is there any additional comment, friendly amendments to our mission and vision statements? Hearing none, we will open the floor for a vote. All those in favor, please signal by saying aye.
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 All
Aye.
those not in agreement, same sign. Voting no. Okay. And anyone abstaining? So the mission and vision statements pass, and we will recommend those to our Board of Education. Thank you all so much. The next thing that we have on our agenda is to discuss our committee charter. And I'll pull that document up for you all as well. Hopefully you had an opportunity to view that document through our Google Docs. In our prior meetings, we discussed creating a document that really helped committee members understand the expectations that we have for them on this particular committee. Our charter starts out with the mission statement, and I see Vice President Reyes is going to go in and update that language to ensure that it's correct. But we lay out the mission and vision for our public engagement committee. We also lay out the membership. We clearly want people to understand that the president of our Columbus Board of Education appoints the committee chairs as well as co-chairs. Each serves a term of 1 year, and then the committee chair and co-chairs will appoint committee members who will also serve a term of 1 year. So we clearly lay out what the membership expectations are for the committee. We also provide information on the authority and the responsibilities of the committee. It's important to know that this committee has no express or implied power or authority, but we are responsible to report our activities to the board, at least on a quarterly basis. We serve as a steering committee to develop a recommendation to the board for a strategic short and long-term linkage plan with internal and external groups. So we lay out what those responsibilities are. Again, this document really helping new committee members, existing committee members understand the expectations that we have for service on this committee. We also, in this committee charter, lay out what our meetings are for 2021. So based upon the doodle poll that went out earlier in this year, all committee members indicated what were good meeting dates and times for them. Based upon that doodle poll, these were the dates that we came up with. Again, noting subcommittees will probably meet on different dates and different times. But again, we lay out those meetings for 2021. We also lay out the fact that a majority of the committee members need to be present for us to establish a quorum to move forward. And once we entertain a motion to approve this committee charter, Vice President Reyes and myself will sign it and then give it to the board to indicate that we have clearly explained what the membership requirements are, what the service responsibilities and expectations are for members of our public engagement committee. Did anyone have any comments or reactions to the proposed committee charter?
Dr. Pierce, I apologize. As you all know, well, not all you, but as you know, I've been dealing with some family situations, so I have not had an opportunity to view this. Is this charter aligned with the other charters within the organization?
So other committees don't really operate with the charters. This is a specific committee charter that has been expressly written to help our committee members understand the membership requirements and the service expectations.
So I guess I just have a question about the membership paragraph and just for clarity. So the subcommittee chairs will appoint their members, but do those members have to be appointed from the general committee membership? Or if we have outside people, do they then have to be appointed by the board president to be committee members before they can be assigned to be on subcommittees?
So this membership paragraph expressly speaks to the president of the board assigning the chair and the co-chair of the board committee, public engagement committee. From that point, the chair, and if it is a designated co-chair of the public engagement committee, then reaches out to people to invite them to serve on this committee. There is no express language around individuals being named to subcommittees. So because of that, if you decide to chair a particular subcommittee, you are free to go out and invite people to volunteer to work on that subcommittee. Now, please note that the members that work on that subcommittee will not be necessarily recognized as members of this public engagement committee.
Okay, that was my question, because that might then make it difficult to have a quorum at our full committee meeting if those people then ended up on that list. So, okay,
Exactly.
thank you.
You're
Michael,
welcome.
you bring up a good point. So with the language to ensure the clarity, so the president of the Columbus Board of Education will appoint the board committee chairs. So somewhere, Dr. Pierce, it has to state that the committee chairs and co-chairs of the public engagement should be board members. So there is a charter for the audit and accountability, FAC. I think there's about I think most of the other board appointed committees do have some charters. So that's why I was wondering about the language, because it does the board committee, since this is a board, the public engagement is a committee of the board, which makes it different than some of the other committees, Columbus City School committees.
So if you're familiar with that language, Vice President Reyes, I can include that language, or we can amend the language.
If you indulge me a little bit, I would love to pull that up and make this similar to some of the other charters. I can work with Ms. Andor, Ms. Gillison, to ensure that that's why my initial question. And again, I apologize. I've had yeah.
So what I hear you saying is that you would like to do additional research to ensure that this charter is in alignment with other committee charters, and we can expect to have that back from you at our next meeting.
Hopefully prior to that.
And
yes.
if you would like to circulate that via our Google document, we welcome that as well.
Yes, please. Thank you.
And our preference would definitely be before, if we were to, again, noting that some members, this may in fact be your last meeting of the year. You may decide that you don't want to continue your service. So we definitely want to make sure that we have this charter approved and ready to go before we begin to invite new members to serve on the committee.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Is there any additional feedback, comments? All right, hearing none, we will note that Vice President Reyes will continue to work on that charter, and we'll bring it back for discussion at our next meeting. Okay, moving forward, our next agenda item is to then discuss specifically which committees individuals would like to work on in the upcoming year for 2021. So I am now sharing a document that lays out our subcommittee structure. Based upon our prior meetings, we broke our subcommittees up by work into two different categories. Our first category is the overarching work that we do. So we have a communication subcommittee, a fundraising subcommittee, a marketing subcommittee. Our next subcommittees were then categorized by our outlaid activities. Some of these activities are pretty well known. Some of these activities are a little bit less well known, but have great potential and opportunity to engage our community members. Those subcommittees include our Children's Day, our Community Ambassador Program, our Hall of Fame, our Needs Assessment for Preparedness for Engagement, and then last but not least, our PTA in a Box. And so at this point, we will open up the floor, and it may even go a little bit quicker if everybody would just go to the chat box and put in the committees that they would like to champion in the year 2021. So if you could just take a moment, go to the chat box.
And
again,
sorry.
Mhm.
Just want to kind of reiterate to those who are on the line and knowing full well if there's some people that are missing today. As Dr. Pierce has mentioned, some of these are overarching work and some of them are activities. Just want to reiterate, Children's Day is a little bit different than some of the other committees. Children's Day is predominantly put on by members of our administration. So, but we will need somebody to kind of attend some of the meetings, correspond back and forth to the larger committee, and then providing Dr. Pierce and I some information so that we can share with the board as activities come forth. The Community Ambassador Program, there is a pre-written information that we've done in the past. It is a little bit more intensive. So just want to put that in. The Hall of Fame is kind of brand new. So I just wanted to make sure that people who are looking at some of the other overarching could not think about the activities and maybe perhaps beyond two. Some of them are a little bit shorter than the overarching work, but it's a commitment nonetheless.
Dr. Pierce, can you go back up on the on your slide, please? Thank you.
It's important to also note that if one of our subcommittees for our outline activities does not garner sufficient support, at least 3 committee members, we will not be moving forward with that activity in 2021 as a board committee. So far in our chat box, we have Michael Barnes indicating that he will work on our needs assessment. Malik Moore indicating that he will be a part of the marketing committee. T Street, yes, we'll champion getting our Hall of Fame committee up and going. Jimmy Beal has indicated that she will be working on communication. Malik Moore's second choice is our Community Ambassador Committee. Vice President Reyes would like to work on Children's Day and the Hall of Fame. Dr. Najiro would like to work on Children's Day. Laura Krause would like to work on our Community Ambassadors or PTA in a Box. Dr. Robinson would like to be a part of the Communications Committee as a first choice. As a second choice, the Community Ambassadors Committee. Toya Johnson indicates her first choice is marketing. Her second choice is the Community Ambassador Committee. Shelby Dawkins is indicating that she would like to work on our communications team and also open to working on the marketing committee. And then T Street is going to couple her work on the Hall of Fame with the fundraising committee.
And Dr. Pierce, we do also have people who are not here today that have mentioned some of the committees.
Mm-hmm. And so again, we'll use our Google document to go through one time, additional time to make sure that we have all identified volunteers for committees. please be on the lookout again for the Google document that indicates the volunteer names that will be working on those subcommittees. Again, if we do not garner the support of at least 3 committee members on our outline activities, those activities will not be key and critical for the work of the Public Engagement Committee in 2021.
So will we go through this again at the next meeting after people have had an opportunity?
So our preference will be for, again, the subcommittee names will be added to the subcommittees. That list will be circulated via Google Docs. As you can see, our agenda today includes item action number 9, which encourages those subcommittees to have a meeting prior to our next meeting date. The next time this larger committee will meet will be in February of 2021. We will meet bi-monthly. That next meeting will take place on February 9th. So our agenda today, action item number 9, again, encourages subcommittees to meet prior to our February 9th meeting. So again, please be on the lookout at that Google document, as it will list all the volunteers' names under those subcommittees. And then you all will be charged to have your meeting and to begin the great work.
Dr. Pierce, did I provide you and or Alicia or somebody the documents or the drafts of, I know we have not created any draft for the overarching work, but we do have a draft of the Children's Day Community Ambassadors needs assessment. Well, I'm sorry, not the needs assessment, but the Children's Day, the Ambassador Program, Hall of Fame, and the PTA in a box.
Yes, you did provide us with those documents, Vice President Reyes. Those documents are in our Google, are online in our Google folder. They have been sub-filed within our end of the year reports, as well as freestanding documents within that Google Drive folder.
Perfect. So just a reminder for everybody in the fall, as you're making those selections, please do go in there and look at that PTA, to see what is the work.
So if I can just make a pitch, if any of you think that the needs assessment might be valuable and critical to the other things you're interested in working on, if maybe 1 or 2 people could join me on that, just to make sure that work does actually happen, if you think it would be useful to you in your other interests on the committee.
Great recruitment, Michael. Great recruitment. I'm with you. Let's get our 3 members.
Would anybody else like to give a pitch for the committees that they are interested in? I will say that I will join my mentor, the amazing T Street, on our fundraising committee and our Hall of Fame committee.
Thank you, Dr. Pierce.
Yes. No other pitches for other committees?
Oh, I can pitch for every single last one of them.
Okay, we look, we don't have enough time for that, Vice President Reyes.
I know Lolita Augustine, the president of the PTA, will talk a little. Is
PTA in a box.
She actually, yeah, PTA in the box. Again, some of the work on these, the big haul, I guess I want to say, is those overarching committees. Those are new. Those are probably going to take a lot more work. Some of these other activity committees do have some great partners. So Children's Day, again, that is something that the principals of all of our schools take under their wing. So it's really more of an administrative role with Chief Gillison, who has done an excellent and amazing job making that a staple within Columbus City Schools. Michael Barnes, you were part of that committee. So just want to talk a little bit more about Children's Day on that side. And I'm excited that I think we do have 3 people with the Community Ambassadors Program. That's an excellent program.
So I do have a question regarding Children's Day. when we do needs assessment, I think it would be helpful to do a needs assessment of the principals who have to implement it every year. Because I work on the school side of this, and they feel that it's a mandate, but it's not something that necessarily that they championed. But it is certainly a mandate that they're expected to pull off. And so I do think having the input from schools to hear what folks have to say might be useful and helpful going forward in terms of Children's Day, because it's a big haul and a heavy lift for them every year. And every year the kind of the requirements change, and some of the same people have to carry it. And so it's not carried equally by all of the principals. There are principals who are leads in some areas. There are schools who don't even pay the fees that they're asked to pay to pull it off. And so I think that it would be useful, especially when people sometimes don't always feel heard, administrators don't always feel heard. It might be useful to survey principals around that particular program. And I think we would be surprised to hear what some of the principals have to say.
Absolutely. Thank you to Amazing T Street. We have attempted to do that. I'm sure Chief Gillison would love to spend some time in talking that out. We have done some of that work, but as always, we need to do that every year to ensure, as you know, we have transition in principals, and we're trying to make sure that we garner that information, because we have heard that before. And Dr. Chief Gillison, soon, hopefully Doctor, can share some of the research or some of the information we have received as we have surveyed principals and reasons for doing it or not doing it.
And if I could just add to that, and I kind of put it in the chat, some of us have assisted with like some of the activities pieces, like Children's Day. I mean, I've been doing that probably 10 years. And we're happy to keep on, to keep on doing that. So I don't want anybody to think like, just because we didn't sign up for an activity, because I mean, I taught middle school students how to do balloon sculpting and clowning when we went to the elementary school, and, you know, have been there doing balloon sculpting and clowning at different middle schools and elementary schools. So I'm happy to continue doing that kind of stuff. And even when we had the kindergarten one down at Fort Hayes on the complex. So yes, definitely, you know, even though I want to work with communication, I also would be happy to help with any of those activities.
And for the record, I also help with Children's Day. I'm in the region that does the most. I'm in the region that has pony rides for kids.
You're the one that fights every year to be the #1 Children's Day spot.
Let me be clear that we put money on the table, so I help to fundraise for my region. So it's not that I don't participate in it, but I also then have to listen to all the principals on the backside of it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The ones who really work really, really hard. And
Yes.
so it's not fair to the ones who don't put forth the same effort that the ones that get wrangled, Chief Gillison, they get wrangled into being the leads for their areas. They work really, really hard. And so there's some feedback that I think that you would hear. But so please don't hear me saying that, you know, I'm not a supporter of Children's Day. I'm a supporter of not having one more thing if it's not serving what the needs are. So I think that it would help us to hear from principals. That's all I'm saying. But I do as well. And I've been one of those people.
Oh, you went on mute.
I think we lost.
I've been one of the people who have traveled to multiple schools on the days that they're hosted just to see what different areas are doing. So I'm a supporter, but I also know that from a principal perspective, they're not always cheerful.
So not to overtake the conversation, Dr. Pierce, but I did want to share, and I don't know, Chief, you want to share this, but last year we actually proposed to some of the principals, which we had about, 30 principals in the room, something. There was a lot of them. And we proposed to make it smaller. We asked, and they actually challenged each other to make it bigger and better. So, because we did hear that from several people that there was some concern. So maybe for another time, Chief, we can, or for those who are interested in and if Children's Day continues to move forward, we can have those discussions. But every year, I think it's important, to your point, to always ensure, because the lift is not really from the public engagement, the lift is from the school. So it's very important to ensure that we get that feedback. So.
And I
So
will
might
take.
I just suggest that maybe we are at a point where Children's Day has grown its capacity beyond a board committee activity. This seems like an activity that should really be charged, championed, and driven through administration versus being driven through a board committee. Board committee should be thinking innovatively of new projects and activities. And once we get to that critical threshold where the community is familiar with the activity, where the community is looking for the activity and ready to engage and volunteer, we should be able to hand that off to administration for administration to take the ball and continue to run it down the field. So if we do in fact move forward with Children's Day, I think it becomes critically important for us to think strategically and very intentionally about where that particular activity is housed and who leads the charge for that. Because just listening to this conversation and being a parent that has taken my kids to multiple Children's Days, it does seem like it's very administratively, very school-based, very regionally based led. Not very often could I walk into a Children's Day and identify a board member there or identify a public engagement committee member there. And so I think with this committee, what we want to make sure that we're doing is the work to build the bridges between the community. And again, it sounds like this particular activity has reached that sweet spot, that threshold where it's ready to stand on its own 2 feet and really be housed with the administration.
And I think there's probably something.
Am I thinking of that right, Chief Gillison? Or am I thinking?
No. I think that's part of the charter also, Dr. Pierce, is because when we started our whole conversation with this new group of public engagements, we talked about we ultimately want these things to live way beyond us, right? If it's an activity or a program that's valued by the Columbus City Schools, that ultimately it's something that grows feet. PTA, that's parents. So eventually PTA in the box is probably going to go to parents. Ambassador program is community. So I agree.
All right, thank you. I'm sitting here listening. Yes, I agree. But the first thing I agree with is going back and assessing building administrators. And because you're right, I heard it several times, the heavy lift comes from the buildings and the administrators. Someone said it about wrangling principals. I have some folks that come through every year, every time, and they really make it an amazing day. So I will go back and I will do an assessment of the building administrators, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. You're on mute, Dr. Pierce.
Thank you so much for that, Chief Gillison and Vice President Reyes. Again, this is very good dialogue. As we continue to solicit and really invite people to come alongside us to do this work, if you know a particular committee member that could not make our meeting today, but hey, you've worked with that person in the past, or you're just interested in working with that person now because they're on this committee, reach out to them via email and say, hey, you weren't at the meeting and I really want to work with you. Let's collaborate, let's partner on this particular subcommittee. So we're able to have everybody assigned, hopefully by the end of the year. Greatly appreciate that. So if there's no more discussion around our subcommittees, we'll move right through our agenda, and that will take us to agenda item 8, which again is just sharing our meeting schedule for 2021. And we want to make those meetings publicly known. So our next meeting will actually be on, I gave the wrong date earlier. Our next meeting will actually be on Wednesday, February 10th. Then we have Wednesday, April 14th, Wednesday, June 9th, Wednesday, August 11th, Wednesday, October 13th, and Wednesday, December 8th. So again, these will be bi-monthly meetings that will begin promptly at 3:30. Please be advised ahead of time that if we are still meeting virtually, we will be live streaming these meetings, so plan accordingly. Our next action item is to then lay out our next steps and deliverables for our February 10th meeting. Again, Vice President Reyes, Chief Gillison, and I encourage you to, once your subcommittee structure has been laid out and you have a solid 3 people, to set a date and a time to meet prior to our February 10th meeting. So you can come to that meeting and give us an overview of the work that you plan to do in 2021. Are there any questions, comments related to, again, our next steps and deliverables? Hearing none and seeing none, I will provide an opportunity for everyone to give announcements as we're coming to the end of our meeting. Are there any announcements that anyone would like to share? Chief Gillison, would you like to share some announcements?
Oh, yes, I do have an announcement, and I'm really excited to share this announcement. And if I could set the context, this pandemic has impacted all of us. It is not a West Side thing, a South Side thing. It has impacted the globe. So the district has a movement, and the first movement is going to start on December 16th. It's called We Care Wednesday. And We Care Wednesday, our superintendent has put a call out to our 9,000 employees to volunteer to make phone calls to parents on December 16th. Now, we care every day, but on this day, it is a concerted effort to reach out. So we're partnering with Lutheran Social Services 211 because they are the repository for community resources. So one way or another, we've either been impacted by, we know someone with COVID, we've lost someone from COVID, people have lost work hours, people have been laid off. It's impacting our community in a big way. And we know that we will never get to Maslow's hierarchy of need. We'll never get to Bloom's taxonomy if we don't address Maslow. So Thursday, that's tomorrow, we are doing a mass mailing with resource information to parents. And then on Wednesday from 4 to 7, We Care Wednesday, we're making phone calls, and we need volunteers, and board members are going to be calling, superintendents calling, and we're calling families saying, hello, Mrs. Reyes, did you receive the resource information that was sent earlier in the week? And she'll say, yes. Can I help you walk through any of that information? At that time, she'll say what her concerns are, or if there's a particular information that she'll need. Now, we know that not everybody is used to making phone calls. So we're going to have training on Monday. Yes. Another question, do we have bilingual assistants making calls? We are partnering with Ohio Hispanic Coalition. We are partnering with ETSS to make calls to families because we know our community is hurting. Actually, internally and externally, people are hurting. And so we want to take the time out to be able to give them the resources that they need, especially as we go into this holiday season. So We Care Wednesday is December 16th, and it's not a one and done. We will be coming back to make sure our community is okay. So thank you for that opportunity for me to share that information with you. And Vice President Reyes and Board Member Pierce, I'll go ahead and put you down for your list to call as well.
Chief Gillison, can I ask, You said the training was on Monday. What date is that?
Monday, December 14th.
Okay, that's the
And
training?
yeah, and We Care Wednesday is December 16th.
Okay, and so you'll send a link for those, or do we sign up for those, or?
The link, you should have received the link. It came out from Dr. Dixon. She sent it to all
Okay.
staff members. And
Yep.
so the link to register is in that email. So if you go to that email, once you get in that email, all the information you need about training. We've got scripts. We're going to cover just about everything you need. And we'll even run a We Care Wednesday headquarters. So if you're if you're making phone calls and you run up against something and you don't have the answer for, all you got to do is transfer that over to our headquarters, and we're taking care of that. So we're not leaving anybody out there on the limb.
So Chief Gillison, can we send that note to the Public Engagement Committee members?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We can get that out to everyone.
Are there any additional announcements? Thank you so much, Chief Gillison, for sharing that. What an innovative way to reach out to our families, to speak with them one-on-one, to meet them where they are, and to respond to their needs. So we appreciate that. We appreciate the work that your department, while small, is extremely powerful and important to the success of our students in our district. So thank you for that. Are there any additional announcements?
I just want to, I don't know if anybody is seeing the beautiful background for our public engagement member, the amazing T Street. But if you have not seen or heard or seen, or you do not follow her, please go and follow her. And she has an exciting virtual book coming out. I think you can read it there. I don't know, Amazing T Street. I you are very humble. You're not saying it, but I think it is, as all you know on this call. She has worked with our kiddos for many, many years, as many of you have. But it's exciting to have not only a person who's truly engaged with our kids, but also a person that walks the talk. If you haven't heard, I would love humbly ask if you would just shortly say a little bit about your background there.
Board Member Reyes, thank you so much. I have a new book that's coming out. It drops this Friday, the 11th. I'm having a book launch party, and I think that's what Board Member Reyes was referring to, because it's been all over social media, and folks we've been doing invites. My book is titled When Love Flows to Broken Hearts, Love Notes to My Children and Yours. And actually, the person who was the impetus for me to write this book during COVID was Mrs. Gillison. It happened as a result of a conversation that I had with Mrs. Gillison. And I state that in the book. I never like to take credit for stuff that's not mine. And so Mrs. Gillison convinced me that, based on a conversation we had and some things that have been happening during COVID, that I should write this book. And so we did. And so we're excited to do the book release this Friday. And all my friends are coming on. We're doing a party. We got a DJ and we got prizes. And really, it's just to announce the book. And actually, I'm really excited because Fresno Unified Schools is ordering 500 books. Fresno Unified is ordering 500 books. They just purchased 300 of my old book a couple of months ago. And so they're purchasing 500 books. And so that just delights my soul. And their parents are all coming a few of their parents are coming on the book launch on Friday. So thank you so much. I appreciate your support, Board Member Reyes. And yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Not every day an author.
So as one of the mentors in my life that was extremely impactful, T Street has known me from the time I was in high school, I think just entering in. And so when we think about the great alumni that we have in our district that continue to give back, the amazing T Street is one of those people. And not because she has authored books and that because she is a nationally and internationally recognized speaker, but because she has a heart for our children. Because when our schools say they need someone, she steps up and she steps in that gap, and she is there to provide those services and support. And so even in this moment, I cannot think of a better alum to champion our Hall of Fame as we put the work in to reestablish it. So we can acknowledge and highlight the great work of our alumni, the champions for our district. And so it's probably long overdue. T, thank you for contributing to the leader that I am today, to contributing to the woman and mother that I have become. My children will probably say I am extremely hard on them, and that is because I had a mentor that would not accept anything but greatness from me. And so the amazing T Street, I thank you for what you have done, for what you continue to do in our district. And I pray that our Father continue to bless, protect, and keep his hand upon you as you continue to inspire our students and our community with your great work and heart. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
What? Yeah. Do we have you speechless? Is this the first time in life? You know I gotta tease you, T. You know I gotta tease you. So again, thank you so much. Any other announcements?
So I've got one. So I was thinking, over Thanksgiving about things I'm thankful for, and we have it on pretty good authority that my son should be getting a call or email this weekend that he's going to Oberlin College next year, hopefully, out of Columbus City Schools. But as I was thinking of the things I'm thankful for and my why and why I'm involved with the district, I started thinking about all the people that touched him and all the groups of people and listing them out and thinking about the fact that it's not just thankful for bus drivers that got him to school safe, but like there's individual bus drivers who had individual contact with him, not just the food service workers, but there's some that knew him by name, right? Not just the kind of general overarching all the people, but the individuals that he came in contact with over the last 12 and a half school years in this district that have set him on that path that hopefully he will be beginning in the fall. Right. And I paused as I started thinking back and thinking of not the actual individual people, from teachers to administrators to counselors to professional specialists to bus drivers to food service workers that, all came together and gave him that 13-year experience to get him where he's hopefully going to be able to go. So I just wanted to share that.
I don't think there's any other board committee that is able to do that. That is literally the passion of our committee members, the acknowledgements that we're able to give our staff, our community members, the way that we're able to highlight and feature the greatness of our alumni and of our students. There's no better way to end 2020 than on a high note, like we've ended, like we are ending this meeting, looking forward and being thankful for what has come through 2020. Michael, your son finishing and transitioning into college, and being thankful for those moments and looking at those positive moments. So my spirit is filled and overwhelmed. What a great way to end our meeting. So if there are no other announcements, again, this will be our last meeting of 2020. Our next meeting will be in 2021. To those committee members that will decide not to move forward with us in 2021, Vice President Reyes, Chief Gillison, all of our community administrators and district, thank you for your service. There's no way we would have been able to establish our structure, revise our new mission and vision statement, and really set a foundation to move boldly into 2021 without your help. So thank you for that. To our committee members that will continue this great work with us, we look forward to seeing you in 2021. Please be safe, continue to wear your mask, wash your hands often. And as our committee members have kind of brought to the forefront and table, stay focused on those positive things. Share gratitude, give gratitude, and help someone as we move into 2021. So we'll just need a motion to adjourn in a second. Is there a motion to adjourn? Jimmy Bill, we got a motion. We got a second from Michael.
Sure.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Is anybody no? Same sign? Not hearing none. No abstentions. All right. Well, we have completed our last meeting of 2020. Again, thank you, everybody. Take care.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Bye.